My name is Jessica Bogard, and I'm a nutrition systems scientist with the Food Systems and Global Change Research Group at CSIRO. Some of you might be wondering what sustainability and climate change have to do with obesity. And if you are, please have a look at the Lancet Commission report on the global syndemic of obesity, undernutrition, and climate change. In that report, we really clearly lay out how these three major global challenges are actually quite closely linked. They coexist in time and place, they interact with each other, and they also have common systematic drivers. And today I'm talking about the food system as one example of as a driver of these outcomes. So basically, our global and increasingly industrialized food system has really evolved to favor the production of energy-rich staples like wheat, corn, and rice. And this system has been very successful in increasing production volumes, particularly over the last 50 years or so. And this has had the really important impact of reducing hunger and undernutrition around the world. However, in many contexts, this has also actually contributed to very monotonous diets that might provide sufficient energy or calories, but not the micronutrients required for human health. And in fact, alongside growing obesity rates, around 2 billion people around the world suffer from some form of micronutrient deficiency. We also know that those who are undernourished in early life, their physiology is altered in a way which means that they're more likely to suffer from overweight and obesity as adults. Now, this historical bias towards staples also means an oversupply of cereal grains and oilseeds, which provide cheap inputs for the development of many ultra-processed foods, which are, of course, a key driver of obesity. So on the one hand, we have global food systems that are driving both undernutrition and overweight and obesity. And at the same time, this same industrialized global food system is also contributing to unprecedented environmental damage. We're already overshooting planetary boundaries on several metrics. And agriculture alone accounts for around a quarter of the world's global greenhouse gas emissions. So reform in food systems is absolutely necessary if we're going to address climate change and emissions reductions targets. And as many of you know, numerous organizations, panels, reports around the world have called for widespread food systems transformation to try and address these multiple challenges simultaneously. This means changes throughout the whole food system, from production right through to consumption. So firstly, agricultural production systems, they need to be refocused on producing the foods that we need for healthy diets. So at a global scale, this means like a move away from this focus on staples to produce a greater quantity and variety of fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, and others. But it's not just about the production. Related to this, we really need to invest in supply chains to make those healthy foods more accessible, more affordable, more desirable, and more convenient for people. Of course, we also need to employ a range of strategies that support a shift in consumption patterns, particularly through policies that change the food environment. And you've heard from many other experts today in that space. It's a huge area, but I just wanted to mention one example, which relates to food-based dietary guidelines. We're conducting a review at the moment, and we're seeing a growing trend where in the last couple of years, many countries around the world are broadening the goals of their dietary guidelines beyond health to also include environmental sustainability goals. And so, of course, that's an important area for community awareness and education. But more broadly, when those guidelines are embedded in public procurement policies, etc., then they really do have potential to change the food environment and have a greater impact on diets and health. And my last point here is just about policy coherence. So, of course, there are many policies that shape our food system that were not designed with population health in mind. So I think there is a real need for health professionals to engage in these spaces and ensure that we embed nutrition and health considerations in all of those policies that shape our food system, so that we can really maximize the synergies across the multiple objectives for our food systems.